Hey there, my natural hair queens and kings. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new, welcome to my channel. Today I will be showing you how I achieve these jumbo box braids in under 4 hours. So if you want to learn how to do that, be sure that you subscribe and that you watch until the end. So first, I'm starting on wet hair, and I'm going to use the African Pride Black Castor Oil Miracle Heat Protective Spray to just protect my hair before I go and blow it out. I find that blowing out my hair before I braid it helps to make the process a little easier when it comes to parting my hair as well as braiding my hair. And I'm just using my brush to stretch out my hair to make sure that I don't leave any curls or any knots in my hair while I am going to go ahead and braid. So now that I have done that and I've cleared it out, what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to start parting my hair. I'm doing really big braids. I don't want to do small ones, so like the parts are going to be really big, and I'm just using my hand mirror to see if the part is as straight as possible or as straight as possible for me. So now that I've done that, this is the part in the back, and now I'm just going to start sectioning this back section into 3 because like I say, these are going to be jumbo braids. I'm using elastics for each section, and then I'm also using the braiding lock and twisting gel from African Pride to slick down my roots to make sure that they are as laid as possible. And now I'm going to go ahead and comb it out and put elastics on each section. Of course, I had an elastic pop for the first one, so I have to use another one. Don't you just hate when this happens? But yeah, I'll just keep going. So after I finish putting this elastic on the section, which is what I'm going to do for each of the parts in order to section my hair for the braids, I'm just going to go ahead and show you the other 3 as well. And once I show you this, I'll show you how I do the braid in the back for one. I'm not going to show you all of how I do the braid because that's just going to take forever, but I will show you how I do about 3 of the braids just so you get an idea of how to do the braids yourself if you want to learn how to do box braids at home. Okay, I am now done sectioning my hair how I want to. This is honestly the hardest part for me because it takes the most time to make sure that the parts are as straight as possible. But now that they're done, I can go in and jump in and show you how to braid. So I'm using 2 colored hair. I'm using black as well as gold because as you can see, I have gold highlights. So if I was to just use black, you would be able to see my highlights through it. And what I'm going to go ahead and do is separate this hair and cut it in the middle. You don't have to cut it if you don't want to, but cutting it in the middle, make sure that the braid isn't literally to your ankle because the hair is extremely long. And you will see once I'm done actually braiding this that the braid will basically almost be to my butt even though I cut it in half. So I'm just going to repeat this step for the gold as well and make sure that I have it separated. Okay, now that I have it separated, what I'm going to go ahead and do is the piece of hair that I took from each of them, I'm going to go ahead and separate it into about 3 sections. The reason I'm doing this is because you don't want when you're braiding to have like a distinct end. Like you can see where I cut the hair. So the reason I'm separating it is to make sure that once I get to the end, I don't have that distinct cut off, if that makes sense. And I'm going to do the same thing with the gold. And I find that braiding hair, the amount that you take is based on how big or how small you want the braid. So it's kind of just an iron thing. And now I'm just going to go ahead and loop the hair, the 2 together. And I'm going to try to show you as close as possible how I braid. But basically the technique is I come to my hair and I split my hair in half. And then once I split my hair in half, I will put my finger in the middle of the split and I will twirl my hand. Two of the strands are actually going to be attached to the two splits of my hair, and I'm going to twirl my hand in order to start the braid. And that's basically how you braid your hair. Is you take, like, say for example, I took the black hair, I will put the two black hairs on the two separated hairs of my hair, and then I will twirl, and the gold hair will come in as the third strand of the braid. So I don't have my hair separated into three, I have it separated into two, and then one of the strands will just make the third strand for the braid. And I'm using this gel as I go to make sure that I'm smoothing down my hair, because I don't want my hair to be fagging underneath the braid. It just ensures that this is as smooth as possible. But once I get to the end, I will also use some mousse to smooth it down. And honestly, be prepared that the braiding hair will get all over the place and it will stick to so much different stuff. But I braid it until I get to an ending point that I just feel like I don't need to, because once I get to the end of braiding, I'm going to dip the ends in hot water to seal them, so I don't have to braid them all the way to the end. And like you see, the hair is super long, even though I actually cut it in half. So here's a close-up of the back of what I've completed so far. And as you can see, the sections are really big. But now I'm going to go ahead and show you the same technique with the last two in the front, just in case you missed it at the back. Like I say, I'm just separating the hair into about three just to kind of even them out, so that there isn't any distinct ends at the end, and that way it wouldn't stick out. And I'll still have some hair that stick out, but I'll go ahead and cut that. So I'm looping the hair again, like I said, and as you can see, when I loop it, I have the choice of holding the black strands into two strands or making it into one, or I have the choice of making the gold strands into two strands or making it into one. So I'm putting my finger in between the black, which means that I'm going to use that for my two strands that I'm going to separate for my hair. And you see I'm separating it. I'm going to put that there, and then I'm going to go ahead and twist the gold underneath. That way I can make the braid, and that's how I start the braid. I must say that I'm not a professional. I learned to do this a while back. They won't look as neat as it would if I went to a professional to get it done, but it gets the job done when you don't have anybody to do your hair and you want to do a protector style. And as I go, I'm just using the gel to make sure that I'm smoothing down my hair in the braiding hair so that I don't have any fags. So this is the last one. I'll show you how I do this. So I'm separating it into two. My middle finger is between the two black strands, and then I'm just braiding under and bringing the gold hair in the middle, because that's going to be my middle strand, and that's how I achieve the box braids. I hope this was easy to follow and you got the concept. If you already know how to braid, the hardest part is actually just adding the hair, and once you practice a bit and you get it, it'll be easy for you. So I'm all done with the braids, and this is the close-up of how they look. When I lift it up, you could see the elastics underneath, but honestly I don't care, because I'm not gonna do this too much with my hair, and if it does, then I could just twist the braid however I want to make sure that the elastic isn't showing. So now I'm dipping it into hot water, like I said, to seal my ends and make sure that the braid doesn't loose out. And it also gives a straighter look at the end. It doesn't give you like that fag when you use hot water. Some people do burn their ends. I just prefer hot water personally. That's just a personal preference, but it's totally up to you. The hot water does get relatively hot, and you have to make sure that it doesn't touch your clothes. But I'm dipping it again because I just didn't feel like it was straight enough for my liking. So I dipped it twice in the hot water, and as you can see, I burned myself a little. But once I'm done with this, I am going to go ahead and start cutting the pieces of the hair that is sticking out, the braiding hair. As you can see, this is from where I cut the braiding hair, and then I separated it to make the braids. So I'm just going in and cutting, and now I'm going in with their oil for my scalp just to stop any itching that I may get. With the braids, you still get itching, but it just minimizes it. I also heard a trick that you can clean your hair before you do it, and it helps. But anyway, this is how the braids look, and now I'm going in with the mousse to smooth down any flags that I got from my hair coming out of the braid, or just from the braiding hair sticking up. I'm gonna go ahead and just put this top piece in like an elastic. I just didn't really feel like leaving it all out. I could if I want to, but I just wanted to do it this way. Okay, that is it. This is the final look of the braids. Like I said, this took me about 4 hours and I kept it in for about 2 weeks. But if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of my future videos. Until next time, my natural hair queens and kings, when you know better, you do better. Bye.